Hi, everybody. My name is Adib Khan. I am the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility at Delta Dental of Colorado and also the Executive Director of the Delta Dental of Colorado Foundation. I'm joined here today with our Smile Power Heroes of the Month. We have three members of the staff at Metro Caring, food shelf here in the Denver metro area that's been doing outstanding work in terms of responding to the crisis around COVID and an increased demand for basic needs within our community. I'm joined today by Teva Sienicki, who's CEO of Metro Caring, along with Rick Pollock, who is the Food Access Coordinator for Metro Caring, and Deena Duwaik, who serves as the Volunteer Manager for Metro Caring. Each of them play a pivotal role in the operations. We're going to learn a little bit more about the organization as well as how they're responding. And so, these are really difficult times for a lot of people, and we're looking for those glimmers of sunshine and hope that will brighten our day. And we want to showcase nonprofits like Metro Caring to be able to really demonstrate how our people and our organizations are going above and beyond for our communities. And you guys have been doing an excellent job. We're proud donors and volunteers of Metro Caring. So thank you for joining us. Maybe you guys could speak a little bit about how your organization is coping with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Sure thing. I can kick us off. So at Metro Caring, our mission is to meet people's immediate needs for nutritious food while building a movement to end hunger. And what we've been seeing since the pandemic is just a real spike in need for emergency food help. Basically, prior to the pandemic, we were seeing about 75,000 people come through a year, and that's about a little under 25,000 households. And during the period following the stay-at-home order, all of the unemployments that hit our economy and our community, we've seen close to a tripling in need. Subsequently, we also had to, shut down our building and pivot our operations to offer safely. To offer safe services, offer food safely, and keep our community safe, keep our staff and volunteers safe. And so it's also been a logistical challenge in terms of how to both ramp up production and distribution of help with emergency food while making sure that our way of doing so kept everybody safe. And I can let Rick and Deena speak a little bit more to that reality.
Yeah, it was really a team effort. We were kind of, as we say, we were building, and we are building the plane in the air as we are flying it. It was a rallying effort with community members and volunteers and staff members to really just brainstorm together how we can innovate our operations and how we can make it the safest for our community members. So in a matter of a few days, we developed a drive-through distribution, we developed a walk-up distribution. A couple weeks after that, we got into Bondadosa delivery for our more marginalized at-risk community members. So we really pivoted in the way that we were recruiting volunteers, we were using volunteers, and how we were using our building and our space.
I'm curious, with the increase in demand that Teva mentioned, and knowing that it's not unique to your guys' food bank and that every food distributor across the state has probably seen an increase in demand, how have you been able to work with your partners or other stakeholders to be able to get the food that you need to be able to distribute it to the families?
Yeah, our donors have really stepped up, particularly Food Bank of the Rockies, the USDA. We've been receiving these emergency food boxes, produce boxes. They're called CFAP produce boxes. Those have been amazing. In terms of like the actual poundage that we've been sending out, over the last month, it was about over 300,000, and I believe that's the first time we've eclipsed the 300,000 pound barrier. But just to kind of speak to, our donors have really stepped up, individual donors, grocery stores, and as I mentioned, Food Bank of the Rockies.
And similarly, Deena, I'm curious with, maybe apprehension with your volunteers or having volunteers who might be, I know a lot of them are elderly who volunteer at Metro Caring. How have you guys been able to cope with just the need for volunteers to do your service and also ensuring their safety?
It's been really inspiring, honestly. We Of course, we ramped up recruitment in a different way, but the amount of community members that have just been so willing to give their time and their energy has been amazing. We've seen about a little over 400 new volunteers during this time, which is about 5 times the amount that we would have regularly. We're still attempting to engage our volunteers who are over 64 in remote ways that we're actually developing now in terms of connecting them to community members or developing some of our more regular volunteer opportunities virtually for them. So we still manage to keep them engaged and connected with our community while still keeping them safe. But it's been really interesting because we've seen a new volunteer base that we haven't before. And so we've really been able to tap into a brand new community, which has been honestly just really inspiring for all of us, I think, and just to really engage with a community that is so willing to give us their time in a crisis. Yeah, I mean, our volunteers, arguably and definitely very biased, are just extremely selfless, and they've been, I don't know, just really vital in helping us innovate and adapt to this crisis as we're in it. And so, granted, like I said, we've kind of altered the way we've recruited volunteers, but a lot of volunteers have kind of just come to us. So we've tapped into different schools, into a lot of different businesses, individuals who were no longer working but still wanted to donate their time and who were still healthy. And we also have a lot of safety precautions. And so we take temperatures at the door. We ensure that if you're sick in any capacity, we just ask that you stay home. Even though we would miss you, we want to ensure that you're safe. We social distance, no exception. In our warehouse, we have no more than about 25. Even at that, that's a high number of volunteers in our warehouse and just in our building at any time. Constant sanitizing, gloves, masks. We even started actually handing out masks to our community members. And so we as an organization are also doing everything we can to ensure the individuals and volunteers that are coming to us are safe. And it's been going really smoothly.
Yeah, if I can just jump in and paint a picture of prior to COVID, we ran our organization much like a grocery store, much like a market, where people could come in, they could shop the aisles, they could choose fresh produce, they could select meat from the meat counter, and have a full kind of grocery shopping experience. Currently, you know, we obviously can't do that because that model involved having a team of 50 to 100 volunteers come through each day. It involved having a number of folks out on the floor, up in the offices, into the warehouse, and concurrently we were running classes, we were running cooking clubs, and so we were a large gathering in motion every single day with several hundred people in our building at any given time during a typical day. And so in recognition of the fact that, you know, most of our volunteers, you know, if we were to continue with those numbers, would not be able to socially distance, we had to really scale back. And so now we're asking for fewer volunteers for a longer commitment of time, a deeper commitment of time. So we're asking folks, rather than coming in once a week or once a month, can you come in a couple times a week? And can you commit to doing that for a while so that we have less exposure in our crews and in our shifts, and can keep our community safe, keep our volunteers safe? And also we had to ask volunteers who were 65 or older, per the CDC guidelines, to choose to remain home to keep themselves safe during this time when they are at greater risk due to the COVID. And so it's been a real shift in operations for us to shift from having, you know, 50 to 100 volunteers per shift, classes running, market running, a lot of vibrant activity, to moving outdoors and to having, you know, no more than 25 people there at any given shift. And that includes outside, in the warehouse, at any place in the building, so that we can keep everyone safe.